Hey everybody, Jeff here from Learn Portrait Drawing, and in today's video we're going to talk about portrait number 3. Now before I get into my thoughts on it, if you can and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Be sure to also hit the notification bell and also give this video a thumbs up, will ya? Helps me out. So before we get into this video where you can watch me draw this in real time, I just want to give you my quick thoughts on it. This one was really hard for me. I'm still not completely satisfied with how it turned out, but as you watch the video, you're going to see all the mistakes that I made on this. I made a ton of mistakes. Fortunately, I was able to correct a lot of them. And as you go to the end of the video, you're going to see near the end where I completely changed what I had and I ended up with this. So the last probably 5 minutes of the video, it's time-lapsed, but I go ahead and make a bunch of adjustments. So I hope you like this video. It's rather long, but just sit down, enjoy the time, and if you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. I look forward to reading them. Thanks a lot, and on to the video. Alright, here we go. Another portrait. So this one, I honestly don't know what I'm going to do yet. So we're just going to figure this out together. Now because this one is another sort of selfie that's cut off, I think I'm just going to give myself something visual here to frame it. So I'm just going to start off with just a big square. Something like this, just to give my brain an idea of where it's going to fit. Now let me adjust the camera since it's obviously a little... There we go. Alright, so this is obviously not set in stone or anything, but in fact, let me make it a little bit bigger. The bigger I can make it, I think the more leeway I have when it comes to mistakes. The smaller the picture, the more hard, the harder it is for me to get the details because it's so small. So we'll see how true that rings. So if I'm going to say like this is going to be my center of focus or where my picture is going to fall into, I'm going to look and see where the face is. So if I'm looking up at the forehead or where the face starts, it looks like it's just left of the center, right? It looks like if the center, almost, it's probably close to center actually. So I'll say it's about right in here. Comes out. And comes down. Again, just trying to look at the big picture. Now I'm going to see where the chin falls. The chin falls, if you make a left line from the chin to the left side of the frame, it's below center. So where would center be? Her nose is probably in the center, right? So if I'm going to say this is the center, the nose is probably going to be somewhere on this axis, and the chin is lower than that. So we'll say the chin is, I'm just going to guess, let's just say the chin's right around here. Okay, so, and then we got this sort of angle like this. Notice I'm trying to keep my lines loose and straight. We just want to create a little sort of envelope of lines around the face. And where does the hair start in the upper right hand corner? Well, I'm just gonna guess and say somewhere around here. And I'm just looking at the hair, how much space is on this side. Again, this is all guessing, it's all just loose measurements. just kind of saying that the face is going to come out this way and up. So I don't know if that's correct. That doesn't look like, I mean, this is all abstract shapes at this point. So we're just going to go with it and see. You know, that's the hair. I'm just going to say it's going to come out this way, over this way. It's probably going to come down here. It's probably going to come down here. So I'm not going to worry too much about the hair at this point. My main focus is trying to get the face squared in there. So let me see the tilt of the face. I don't know, something like this. It's tilting down, and I'm going to say maybe the eyebrows or the brow area is probably going to be up in this sort of region. And check the angle. That's about right. I don't know if, by the way, I don't know if the angles, they may look a little off to you from the camera, but that's just because of the way my camera is. The angle the camera's at might give you a little bit of a different tilt than what I'm seeing. So it looks like we're going to see a little more of this side of the face than this side. The nose, we said, is probably about in the center. So I'm going to try and keep that same angle of the nose. It looks like the mouth is right, really close to the nose, actually. So if the nose is here and the mouth looks like it's pretty close to it, I'm going to say that's a corner right here. The other corner, it's pretty close to the nostril as well. And I don't know if that's going to be correct yet. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess. Oh, by the way, I'm using Vine charcoal. At this stage, I generally like to use Vine charcoal just at this planning stage. That mouth looks a little wonky, but we'll see how it turns out as we add more details. Okay, so you see what I'm kind of doing here, right? I'm just trying to get an idea of where the face is going to go. And then the eyes, you know, if this is the brow area, this is the glabella. So I'm just trying to lay down some like landmarks here. You know, if the brow's going to come up sort of at an angle. Like this. And then I'm going to look over, trying to remember to keep this angle that we got going here. And if I'm saying this is the hair, then I'm going to say this eyebrow is probably right in this area somewhere. And then the eyes, I'm going to say, I'm kind of looking where the nostril would be and kind of going up and saying, okay, well the eyes, one will probably start here. You know, it'll go over here somewhere. How far is that eye to the other side of the face? Well, the eyes are pretty big. She's got really pretty eyes. So it's probably going to be larger than I'm thinking. Somewhere in here. So we'll have an eye in this general area. Probably throw an eye on this side. What do you think? Give her 2 eyes? Yeah, good idea. So we'll have another eye somewhere over on this side. So this will be an eye in here. This will be an eye in here. Oh my goodness. At this stage, it's always so, it's always very hard for me to tell myself that I'm an artist when I look at this and I go, what in the hell are you doing? But that's the fun part, is making something that looks like this look completely different at the end of the day. Alright, this is all going to be hair on this side. I'm not going to worry about that right now because my hand is just going to smudge it all anyway. So the goal at this point is I'm trying to just lay down these features of the face, looking at the picture and seeing, does that look, is everything looking like it's going to be in the right spot? You know, imagine like a blurry picture. Right? So if you imagine a picture being blurry, does that look like it could be it? You know, the eyes look like they're right here. Does the nose look like it's right here? You know, so now that I kind of have this down, I think what I'm going to try and do, I might try and do something different. I'm going to try and just work on one feature. So we'll work on an eye. And then we'll kind of like hopefully base everything else off of that. So let me look at this here. So I'm just going to start with the eye. And again, if the eye is going to be somewhere, I'm using my smudge stick. I got some old charcoal on here, so let me just sort of add this value on here. Maybe that'll help me. So we have an eye. Right in there. As you can see, I'm kind of just making this up as I go along. And a lot of times drawings like that, you're not sure exactly what everything's going to be until you just start throwing down some things on the paper. So let's just go with it. Kind of looking at the shape. She's got this almond sort of shape to her eyes. See that you could see the whole round of her eye down to the bottom there. Then it kind of comes just below it. And this comes sort of this way. And then, of course, we have let me check the angle. Looks like I have the angle probably a little wrong. So let me erase it and go even. See, this is normal. This is only my third portrait, so we gotta keep that in mind. It looks like it's at this kind of angle, right? So check with the picture. That's a little bit better. So if that's the start, and that's the end, let me do it this way. All right. It actually looks a little too much. I'll have to come down a little bit. So I'm going to say the eye's about in here. So I'm just trying to look at all these little shapes. All right, I'm thinking that's a little bit better. Now I want to do the upper eyelid. Comes up like this. Goes over. Looks like it's just pretty much parallel all the way across, so I'm just going to draw that in there for now. This is obviously going to change a lot once we have shading and stuff in. She's got a little tiny highlight in there. And then her pupil. And then, of course, there's shading all around the eye, so this will all get blended in. I'm not going to worry about the eyelashes yet. Again, that eye is going to change. I'm not super thrilled with the location yet. shape. All right. But let me just add in a little bit of value just to give us something. All right. All right. So we have an eye, and let's see, the other eye, it's going to be along the same sort of trajectory. Not sure. Let me use my stump and see if this is going to look about right. Gonna guess the other eye's around here somewhere. Somewhere in here maybe. So now I'm going to just measure very roughly. It's about an eye width apart. So I'll take a measurement of the eye right here. That's about right. And then I'm looking at the corners of the eyes right here. I want to see what this angle is. That's probably about right. So let's just go with that and see. Like I said, I'm kind of doing this one a little bit different than my last drawing because I'm kind of drawing hard and trying to lock in some of these features early, just to see how that looks on video, you know. So I don't know how it's going to work out. We'll see. And this is up here. And I think I made our pupil a little too big, but it's alright. I'm not going to put too much pressure on it. So I'm going to say those are two eyes, and if those are two eyes, this is shading here. Let me do the eyelid. Up and around. I have an eyebrow somewhere up in this vicinity. Up over here somewhere. And looks just like her, doesn't it? So I want to make sure I don't make her nose too wide. I'm looking at this space between the nose here. Okay, so down to the nose, bottom of the nose. Somewhere over here. And the corner of the nose. Looks like it's almost right where the pupil is. Way over here. Huh, interesting. Alright. That looks way too big. Let's see. Okay. Usually it's right where the corner of the eye is, and the tear duct is kind of where the nose is. The side of the nose. So her side's there. She's got the ball of the nose sort of right in this area here. Comes up. There's the other corner. All right. So we got that there. So as you see, I'm trying to just lock in the features. It doesn't look like her yet, but I'm just trying to see, like, I'm just trying to get an eye in the right spot. Okay, the eye's in the right spot. It doesn't have to look like the eye, but it's in the right spot. I'm trying to get the angle of the nose to the eye. That's about right. This kind of helps me see if I can lock in the distance. Okay. How's it looking? Okay. Getting somewhere. The mouth, again, this is probably going to give me problems. I always seem to have problems with it. So I'm looking at the mouth. I want to find this spot right here. And it looks like if you take the nose to the side of the face, it looks like the mouth is right in the middle of those 2 points. Right? Which is kind of where we had it. So if we have this distance correct, how far in or out? So I'm going to try and look at this angle here. So I'm guessing it's maybe over here. It falls outside of the eye. So if I drew a straight line down, it falls to the outside. So let's just say corner of the mouth is right about there. And the other corner of the mouth, it's inside from here. Just outside the nose. So if we're going to say the nose is here, then we know it's somewhere probably here, maybe where I thought it was. and fairly, let's see, let's do that dividing thing. It looks like if we were to divide the side of the nose to the side of the face, it's not quite in the middle. It's closer to the nose. So I'm just going to say for now, this is where that's at. Right in here. And then I'm just guessing for the lips. All right, just guessing. Bottom of the lips, come down kind of where I maybe imagine they would be, right in here, bottom of the lips. And I don't think the chin comes down quite that low. Her chin. We're probably going to have to adjust the face here. By shaving it up a hair. We'll see. Right now it looks really crazy. I agree, but that's okay. We will start to lock this in. Okay. So, the other thing I want to start paying attention to is probably the... It's hard to see shadows on this picture. You know that's going to be darker up in here. This is the side of the face. There's something I'll probably go over on my channel on one of the tutorials about the Riley rhythm, which helps you get an idea of the form. So this is like the muzzle of the mouth is going to be in here. It helps to visualize the form. You know, there's going to be a rhythm up in this area, and see this mouth area ends up forming the smile lines. So you can kind of see where the smile lines are going to be right in here. Yeah, one of these days I'll do a tutorial on the Riley rhythm, and it's very, very I found it very, very helpful. So this is going to be on shadow here. I'm trying to look at, again, the space here. Usually the eyes are going to be a little bit darker, just because that goes in on the side of the face. Side of the nose is going to be shaded. And eyebrows. I don't want to. I'm trying to look at the space right here too. I don't want it to be too close or too far. piss her off and give her big old man brows. So we'll be careful about that. This is going to be shaded in here. Again, the eye is going to be a little shaded. This is going to be some shadow here as the hair comes right up to where the eye is. Shaded up in here. Right? This is all going to be somewhat shaded. That eyebrow's probably going to change. So see what I'm doing? I'm just trying to give myself some ideas of where things are. You know, I'm starting to, all these little things are starting to add up and create a bigger picture. So I'm going to say this is, and it's, I'm also trying to remember just anatomy and where shadows are going to be. Where's the light? Well, it's hard to say. It looks like from the glint in her eyes, the light's coming from this side. The bottom of the chin looks a little brighter. And let me see. It looks like the bottom of the lip is almost in the center between the nose and the chin. See how we're just slowly making adjustments and going from there. Alright, so the brow's going to be a little shaded up here, lighter up here. You gotta imagine the side of the face. There's a side plane here. So this is where I'm just imagining and making these little marks. Okay? But I'm starting to feel like we're getting somewhere. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm looking at the shape of the hair, what it makes. You know, this kind of triangle shape here, which is going to be, this is all going to be dark in here. I'm not going to worry about that yet. This is hair coming down, forming this triangle here. Hair is going to come up this direction. Alright, so I'll worry about all that hair later. Alright. So now we're gonna make it messy. Smooth it all in here. And this is my blending tool that I made with old junk mail. And one of these days I will film how I made this too. So you can use your junk mail and turn that junk into art. right. So this is the nose. Of course, the eyes right here, so we know that's going to be a little bit darker. One of the things I'm learning, and again, just because my channel is called Learn Portrait Drawing, doesn't mean that I'm know everything. I'm learning. I'm still learning too. I'm using my own channel to learn as I go. Every one of these portraits that I do, I'm learning myself. I'm learning my tendencies, my mistakes. You know, the last portrait I did, portrait number 2, looking back on it, I realized that I was off on the proportions, that I made his face too small. I've added some weight to his face. My proportions were a little off. So I learned, okay, well, got to be careful with that. And so I'm trying to be mindful of that on this. In every drawing you do, I don't care if you're a beginner or you've been doing it for years and years and years, you're still always going to be learning. You're still always going to be improving. You're going to see something that you don't like, and you'll just keep on working at that. Okay, so I'm using my blending stump to kind of, not only am I obviously blending everything into one and kind of getting rid of the white, but I'm going to try and keep the areas that I want to stay a little darker. You know, I'm kind of adding little sections here and there. You know, I know this part is going to be darker. I know this part right here is darker. This is going to be darker up here. So now that everything's kind of blended in and we're sort of locked in on, this is the form, right? Now we can start adding details. We could start using our eraser and pulling out highlights. So let's start working closer now on the eye and go from there. So I might start with my 2B pencil and just start trying to get more detail in the eye. So we got the pupil in here. The top of the eye, as you'll hear many artists say, it's usually in shadow, and I can see that it is darker up here. And let's see what happens here when we use the eraser. Try and bring out some of the white of the eye. It's not completely white, but this is going to start bringing out the eye. I hope you guys are really enjoying these videos, and feel free to leave me comments if you just want to say what you think about the picture. You can do that, or if you have questions about me, my personal life, or my channel. I am always available. Okay. So around the eye, she's got this eyeshadow. So I want to make sure that this is all dark surrounding it. Again, we don't have any eyelashes in yet. I'm just trying to get the shape down. And I think we might be there. I'd like to get a little highlight in here, if possible. And it's sort of hard to pick up, but we might come back to that. Okay. So it's definitely darker up in here. I want to make sure I don't shrink the eye too much. Trying to put in some of the lashes in here right now. Okay. One of the other things I wanted to mention is I'm using sketch paper, so if it looks a little harsh, it's not as smooth as I suppose some other types of paper are. I just don't have anything else right now, so that's why I'm using what I have. I like the sketch pad because I forgot how many are in this, but there's like, you get a lot of paper for the price, so it's really a good investment. Okay, so there's a slight dark area underneath the eye. going to be a little lighter over here, but not too light, so I'll kind of erase and then blend it back down. So we're going to smooth it out. Up above the brow, this area is going to be lighter. And I'm looking at the shape of the brow when I'm doing this erasing. Okay. This is sort of the fun part too, is using the eraser as a drawing tool. Okay. Alright, I'm liking that. Okay. Hopefully this is gonna turn out to be a really pretty drawing. Sometimes it's a little difficult for me to draw pretty faces because, well, one, there's a lot of pressure, but you don't want to, you want to do them justice, you know. You got a pretty girl you're staring at. You want to make sure that that translates onto paper, you know. I don't want some pretty girl to be sad that I messed up her drawing or messed up her picture. Alright, so I'm wondering if I got the mouth correct. Looks like there's a lot of space right here. I'm gonna say that I need to move it a little bit closer. I'm looking at the space between the nostril to where it starts and then the space from there to here. And it looks like I had it about halfway, but now that I'm looking at it, I want to say it's a little bit closer to the nose. So I'm going to keep the same, roughly the same area. Look at that angle. That's about right. And just say that this comes down this way. Something like that. And then let me blend this back in. All right, so by erasing, I'm hoping to bring out the shape of the mouth. Yeah, it looks like I got a couple minutes left before I have to take a break and clear off my camera's memory card. So I need to open this up a little bit. The lips come pretty close to the nose on this side. So maybe I will indicate that with some shade. And that comes up. And then it comes across, right, sort of this direction, meets up with the line where it comes up. Alright, kind of looks like the Joker. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We will fix it, I promise. And then the lips will come down this way. Mouths for me are probably remain one of my harder features. Alright, so I'm blending it in just to get a overall shape. Just want an overall shape. Alright, let me take a break. We will come back to this. And with the magic of video editing, I am back. Split second for you, about 20-minute break for me. Alright, let's continue. So, I think I want to jump over to this other eye and start bringing this into focus. So if you're like me and enjoy watching these sorts of videos, leave me a comment and let me know. I really don't know what everybody out there likes or doesn't like as far as this sort of format. One of the very first things I do when I start my day is I go onto YouTube and I have certain artists that I like to follow and watch, and I've always enjoyed the real-time video. I know it's not for everybody. I know that not everybody has 2 to 3 hours to sit down and actually watch a video like this. Even me, when I do watch them from these other artists, I don't always have the time, but I'll watch them in segments. So if you're like that too, let me know, because that would be pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to shade around the eye a little bit. We're going to blend it all in a second anyway, but upper eyelid's darker. Hopefully when I'm doing these videos you can like follow along with it, and I don't like to necessarily talk the entire time. That way you can kind of listen to the music and stuff. But when I watch videos like this, I try and think to myself like, okay, what's going through the artist's head right now? Is he making the same decisions that I would be making? Would I be doing that if I was working on the eye, or would I be doing something differently? So those are all things that I think of. So I'm just gonna right now blend all this in. Okay. Gonna carry it over into the eye, and then I'll sort of pull out some of the white parts of the eye. Again, the upper part of the eye is a little darker. And then I'm noticing it, the eyelashes kind of come out in this direction. They come up this direction. Alright, let me just kind of take my kneaded eraser and see if I can lighten this up a little bit. Go, starting to pop. A little bit on this side. As you know, the white part of the eyes, which is called the sclera, it's not really white, so that's why I blend it in with my blending stump and then kind of use the eraser to pull it out a little bit, just so it gives that grayish kind of look to it. Okay. Trying to get a little bit, there's a little bit below the iris. Alright, that'll have to do for now. Alright. Not sure if that's exact or not, but I'm glancing back and forth at the picture, and right now it's close enough for me. Looks like there's a little darker value here. This is when I get in little details like this, I switch to my 2B pencil. I seem to like it a little bit more. It gets really fine details in there. And I do like to, if I can, really focus on the eyes, especially with a pretty girl. Really helps draw the attention to that aspect. So far I'm liking the way the eyes are looking here. I'm still probably going to come back into it and lighten up in here. At least this part of it. Okay. All right. Slowly getting there. So let's move into the picture more. Maybe I'll start a little on the left side. Use my eraser and kind of clear up the cheekbones a little bit. Let me lighten. I'm just lightly using my kneaded eraser here. I'm going to erase and then I'm going to use my blending stump. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to look at the picture and just, it's hard, like I said, it's hard to see because there's not really any shadow shapes. So I'm just trying to think of what the form looks like here. And erase some of it. You might be thinking, well, what was the point of putting all that on there in the first place if you're just going to erase it? But it also adds a value, like a skin tone, so that when I come back in here and I start trying to blend again, it's going to smoothen out a little bit. One of the things I look for on the nose is the tops. If you look at the picture, the top of the nose, it's got a lighter value, so I know I can kind of darken around it, and that's going to make the nose look more three-dimensional. Okay. So she's got the smile line. Kind of comes right over this way a little bit. Like this. Up to the nose. Lighten it up a little bit. It's not that dark. And I am seeing, you know, shadow right in this area, right before it gets to the chin. So I want to keep that in there. And then I'm trying to envision the mouth, the muzzle of the mouth. You know, it's like a ball. So I'm just trying to make sure I get that all in there correctly. So the bridge of the nose. It's going to come up here. Lighten this up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, this one's a little tough for me. I seem to pick the difficult ones to draw. It's much easier to draw something that has more defined shadow shapes. Alright, how's that looking? Alright. Notice how it makes her, like right now, her eyes look really dark. Or at least, you know, just the whole section. But I think when we lay down the hair, and then we start pulling the hair out, I think that's going to make the eyes look less, it's going to stand out a little bit less. Alright, so we may have to work on the mouth a little bit. As you can see, I kind of go over this in spurts of you know, like I'll jump from the nose to the mouth to the eyes. Okay, so obviously the lips are not this dark. This is just my spot, my placeholder for the lips. If you imagine, you know, like what would the lips look like if they were just all one color? That's kind of what I was trying to do here. And then now I'll start to erase the value a little bit. Looking at the lips, I'm going to say the top lip is going to be a little bit darker than the bottom lip. So just going to take my eraser, start to lighten up the bottom. Just like that. A little bit of the top too. Okay. So again, even for me, I'm still having doubts and question marks when it comes to my choices here, because I'm just guessing on a lot of things. I'm guessing where the shadows are because I'm not entirely positive. It's the one problem with a lot of these filtered pictures. Not saying this picture is filtered, but just filtered pictures in general is just, it takes away a lot of the contrast and it becomes very difficult to see. So I want to establish again the corner of the mouth is probably over here. Kind of comes down and then across this angle. Now I'm trying to be mindful of how much of the lips, you know, like how much of the upper lip is there, how much of the lower lip, you know, compare that size to the lower lip. I don't want to make it this part too dark. Okay, so that looks good. I'm liking that. I still need to lighten the bottom lip because right now it's, to me, it looks about the same or really close to the same as the top. So I'm just going to go in here and lighten this part here. All right. There we go. And let me kind of smooth out under the lips. It's going to be a shadow. You could see that right under here. There's a little shadow. And kind of extends out this way. Okay, so the hair again is going to come, trying to look at the shape here that the hair does to frame in the face. Because there's also, if you notice, a little shadow kind of comes out a little bit over this way. Gotta make sure that we don't lose the chin. So the chin's here. Notice that the chin comes up, but then it kind of doesn't take that same angle. It kind of comes out a little bit this direction. I don't want to lose that. Sometimes when you blend, you lose it. Alright. It's weird looking at it. Well, it plays tricks with your mind. Like if I'm looking at the chin right now, it looks very pointy. Like very unproportionate, disproportionate. But, you know, I have to remember that all this other stuff isn't filled in yet. So once I do that, it'll make a difference. So let me jump back up to this eye. I'm starting to see little bits of light that we can do. There's a little darkness under the eyes, so I'm going to start to erase below that. And then there's the cheek area. Up in here. There's going to be a smile line up in this area. Somewhere up like that. Kind of shaping the nose here. I said nose here, not nose hair. I don't see any nose hair. And if I have to come back in here again to reshade things, I will. But I just want to make sure I get the nose shape down. I think I did pretty good with the proportion. Again, my last drawing, portrait number 2, I think I made his mouth way too close to his nose compared to the reference I was looking at. So I was trying to be more mindful of that in this one. And I think we might have nailed it. I guess we'll find out later when I review this video. But I can already tell I'm liking... At this stage, I'm liking what I've done so far, my choices. Okay. So before I get to, let me see, let me go back to what I was doing here. See a little shape here. I don't want to make it too dark because I don't want her to look tired. But I do see a shape here, and then I do see a shadow that comes down to the hair. See if you could see that in the picture right in here. And then that creates a lighter area over here. So as long as this area is a little bit darker, it's going to bring out this. And now I'm noticing it comes up top here. So this is going to be in shadow. The shadow comes down here and it continues down here. Do you see that? It's like one long line. And then what I'll do is I'll blend that in. I'm going to have to redo my values here because this is looking really dark. But that's okay. Okay. So let me not get too carried away, because once I start adding in all this other background, it'll put these things more into perspective where I can go back in and visit it. So let me just clear. There's always a little light right above here, right in here. Gotta make sure we don't go crazy on these eyebrows. Again, I don't want her being mad at me. She's probably gonna watch this video. Okay. And then I'm looking at this shape here where the hair comes in and how it makes this shape here by the eyebrows. And then there's going to be some space up here. Okay. Go back to the nose a little bit. You got the wing of the nose. You got the top of the nose. So she's leaning into the light. So this is going to be we want to make sure we get this part, and then of course this part. Right. Trying to be mindful of the cheekbone. Like right now that looks way too light. So I'm gonna have to fill this in. See how that knocked it down? That looks a lot better. That looks a lot better. Okay. So why don't we start getting crazy? You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. I'm going to start shading. Well, let me just... Where's my 6B pencil? Alright. I'm going to start adding some darker values because I can see right here on the face, this part's going to be dark. There's a dark area here where the hair comes out. Remember we said we think this is going to be the hair. Hair comes out this way. And usually what I try and do is I try and mimic the flow of the hair. So watch, just follow my pencil, look at the picture, and see what I'm looking at. Then it comes down sort of this way. Then it cuts over towards the face, over this way. Comes down right around the chin, right in here. It's pretty dark again. See, there's a dark spot, just like there's a dark spot up here. Hair comes this way, then it looks like it kind of comes down here. This is what's going to form that triangle where her neck is. This looks like it's some of the clothing, right? Or I'm not sure what that is. That's a thing though, if you don't know what it is, it's just a shape. Look at it like a shape. Okay, this is all going to be dark right up in here. All the way up to where this hair is. Okay, back over here. So this comes down, comes towards the face. It also kind of swoops this way. It flows down this way. Here's the hair. So this is all hair in here. This comes down this way. Alright, over here, let's see this. Now originally I thought the hair, let's see, this is this hair. Yeah, I guess that could be the hair up here. So that's also hair. Kind of flows out, flows out. Looks like there's a dark area a little bit over here. See that? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to sort of really darken the dark spots. So I'm looking at the hair and I'm just figuring out where I'm seeing darkness. Darker than usual. So this whole part of the hair is darker than this part up here. Can you see that? Up here is a little lighter than this whole area, which is a little darker. All this is a little darker. All this is a little darker. Over here is a little darker. Okay. And then over on this side, of course, this is all some darker shades in here where the shadow is. This is all going to be real light up in here. So let me just shade where since this is all hair, I'm just laying down some charcoal at this point. Okay, Now, if this is all hair, let's start isolating where the dark spots are and the light spots are. Well, there's like this is going to be all light that comes down, like highlights, until it gets about here, and then this starts getting a little darker. Down here is kind of all dark. Up in here, across from the eye, there's a dark spot in here. See that? Right in there. That's dark. There's little dark areas in here. I'm not trying to be too precise. I'm just trying to isolate these dark areas. So we have some hair that goes this way. See this? And then it's kind of dark in here. So let's darken this up. You got this shape. Just think of it like a shape. It looks like a... I don't know what that shape would be. It's just trying to mimic a shape. Okay? And then all in here is going to be dark. So I don't have some artists you see, you know, they'll use pencils sharpened with razor blade. I'm just still using little tiny pencil sharpeners, so if I can't get it, I'll use this compressed charcoal. This will put a real dark value on it. So I'm just looking at the shape right underneath the chin. I can't really make out what it all is, so I'm just going to get the darkest part down, and then we'll blend in everything else and figure out a way. So I'll just take my little blending tool and just do this. Let's get all up in here. This is the skin tone. That's still going to be darker than the face. We want the face to stand out, so we're going to make this part darker. And that's going to bring the face forward. Okay, so I'm going to... Sometimes I use my finger for this part, but I'm just going to use my blending stump. Okay. This is going to hopefully start bringing the picture even more to life. Because now we're getting value. There we go. See, it's looking like hair, but she doesn't look like a blonde yet. We have to add the... We'll add the blonde hair into it. This is what's fun about charcoal. You can really smooth it in there. Alright, so what do we have here? I want you to see that, you know, the way I look at hair, the hair is just like anything else. There's lights and darks to it. So notice this side is a lot darker than this side in the picture. So that's sort of what I'm going for. All right. So let me use my eraser. Smooth this out a little And with the eraser, we're going to try and turn this into hair. So the hair comes up this way. This is one of my favorite parts too. Oh, looks like Amazon's in front of my house, so my dog might be going crazy. Alright, so this is where I'm using the eraser to try and replicate the shapes I'm seeing. So see, there's a shape right here that kind of comes down to about here, and then it looks like it kind of cuts over to the chin a little bit, like that, and it creates this little dark area. And then the hair comes up this way. It's got right here, there's some blonde highlights. Over here, comes down, there's some that come down, some that comes out over on this side. And then up over on this side. This part's really blonde right in here. Okay. And there's just some individual strands up in here. Okay, so I'm gonna just randomly flick some of the hair, indicating the direction that it's going in. See that? There's going to be a dark spot over in this area. I don't want to overdo it too much. So for right now, let me just do that. And sometimes I'll even do a little hair over the skin. Oh. Yep, Amazon's here. Okay. Because I don't want to strangle my dog, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So let me continue on with this. So I'm just trying to look at values, right? So this value is not the same as this value. So I need to lighten this. I'm just going to use my eraser. Looks like it comes out this way, creates this triangle. So let me just make a lighter triangle here. Okay, look at that. I just brought out her neck right there. And then I'm going to blend up. But see, so one of the things I want to teach is that you start big and you work small, right? So I just made a triangle. I didn't think about shading or anything. Right now, this triangle is all the same value. But now you got to look even closer. Ignore everything else. We're just going to look at this triangle. And if you look at the picture of the triangle, it's darker on the bottom than it is up top. So now we're just going to darken the triangle from the bottom. Just going to make this a little bit darker. This is what blending stump is good for, especially when it has charcoal on it. Okay, so I'm just making that a little bit darker. But this looks also, this has to be darker than up here. So, you know what? I'm just gonna knock the whole thing down a little bit. And then make the bottom a little bit darker. There we go. And there's definitely, it looks like a hard line separating the two, right? So you don't have to make this line right here soft. You can just keep that separated without blending it in. This dark area can stay dark. Now, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do all this down here because it's not really that important. I think I might just leave this even darker. This has to stay the darkest up in here. But what I'm shading has to be darker than her neck in order to make it read correctly. So I'm going to make this, I'm just adding charcoal here, making this darker. Okay. And then I can darken this even more. Just to create a little contrast between the two. Looks like this is a darker shape down in here. See, for me the important part is we just maintain the neck staying in there. I see a little shape over here. So we'll just keep that in there. This can be darker. Again, I want to make the hair stand out, so I'm kind of just doing this, creating these spots. Okay. Sometimes what I'll also do is try and add some more strands of hair. So a lot of it's also like layering, you know, like we're layering the picture. This is now my number 2 charcoal pencil. I don't want to go too crazy with it. But I do want to give it some indication of the shadows of the hair. Okay. We're getting close. I have about 2 minutes left to dump my memory card, and then I will be almost finished. We're getting to that stage now of the final touches. So I want to say the lips need to be a little bit fuller. This is when we get to like the sculpting phase where you feel like you're sculpting. Here we go. So I'm working on the shape. I made it a little bit fuller. Maybe too full, but hey, I'm not perfect. All right. And I'm going to go back in and try and take away a little bit of the value on top of the bottom lip. And then again, I'm trying to look in. I'm trying to take the big shape and look in. On the top lip, it looks like maybe right here it might be a little lighter. Maybe on this side a little lighter. Maybe. So I'll just take a little bit out. And then I'll look at the camera and I'll look at the picture and I'll see how it looks. I think it looks okay for now. Kind of lighten out the shading a little bit. Don't want it to be too hard. Alright, let me take a quick break, dump my memory card, and we'll be back. Well, hello everybody. Guess who's back? It's me. So, I noticed a couple things. I feel like the chin is a little too long. And I think this eye is a little too small. The chin I think we can do something about. I'm not sure how much I can do with the eye. The eye is already pretty much in place. And I'm not sure how much I can really extend it. It's pretty locked in. So I think I might just have to add some more eyelashes out here to kind of give it the impression that's bigger than it is. I mean, it doesn't look horrible on the camera, so I think I might just leave well enough alone and not mess with it too much. But the chin, and maybe you can leave me a comment and let me know, but because she's tilted downward, I'm kind of apprehensive about this, but let's just see. Maybe we can fix it if it doesn't look great. Just shortening it a little bit, and all I'm doing is taking my blending stump and just blending more tone up into it, which shortens it. It's kind of neat how you can do that. You don't even need an eraser. I'm not erasing anything. I'm just blending tone upwards. Yeah, I'm thinking that looks better. I think we fixed the issue with the chin. Kind of looks like what's that actress's name? Hayden Panettiere. Is that how you say her name? Very, very pretty actress. So let me darken around here again, just reinforce this dark area, which will make the face pop out, contrast the hair a little bit. All right. She's looking mighty fine. All right. So I'm not sure with the hair yet. I think I still need to add some more detail. But we are almost done. If you've stuck with me this whole video, I am very, very, very impressed and proud of you, my sweet babies. There we go. I'm going to working this again a little bit just so I can try and pull out the highlight again. Maybe over here too a little bit. There we go. I like that. I don't want to overdo it with the hair. There we go. Okay. Maybe I'll take away some value down here just to break up this shape a little bit. Have a plan for her, whatever this is, jacket or whatever that is. So just keeping it a different value, I think, is okay. Some lines to indicate clothing or something. Kind of blends in. Right, we're just about there. I think what I'm going to do, since this is just about done, from this point forward, I'm just going to do a little time lapse while I sit here and kind of think and touch up on anything, and then that'll be it.